Welcome to this week's edition of the Dixie Sun News at Noon. I'm Hannah Hickman.
And I'm Sarah Richardson. Thanks for tuning in. Guests are no longer allowed in student housing. While last semester students were advised not to have guests in their suites, student housing is now saying that no guests are allowed during a pandemic.
As COVID-19 continues, the Department of Music is using a new approach to connect with others. Dixie Sun video editor Olivia Rude has more.
To maintain pandemic safety, the music department started live streaming their concerts on YouTube. They are now reaching more viewers than ever before.
We built a YouTube channel and started doing the streaming last semester, and from there it just kind of worked out. And you can actually type Dixie State Music on YouTube, and our channel will be one of the first things to pop up. So it's really easy to find.
We've always recorded our concerts. I have a group of student engineers that work for the department, and they audio record every concert that goes on in there. I kind of saw where things were going to be going with this, and so set up also a camera in there to start streaming the concerts and recording the video.
Because the performers don't have a physical audience, they keep streams open backstage during the concerts for feedback. The audience is also growing. Attendance has more than doubled.
Last semester, when we had upcoming events, it always had the closest events that were upcoming right at the front of the channel, so people could see there's a concert this weekend, it's right there.
The next event to be featured on the channel will be Utah Crosstalk, an annual concert held by BYU. It will be a virtual collaboration of colleges around the state, including performances by DSU faculty and students.
For Dixie Sun News, I'm Olivia Rude.
You may be asking what's happening with the name Dixie. Well, that answer is now up to the state legislature, who are now in session. If the state legislature does approve a name change, documentation will be provided to the public addressing how the name change will be accomplished, the cost, and options for a new name. However, because the decision hasn't been made yet, legislators do not have a timeline for when this would be accomplished. On a local level, residents and students are making their voice on the name change known, even protesting on campus the first day of the semester. Dixie Sun producer Stephanie Dupar has more.
The word Dixie has significant pride here in the southern Utah area. However, as Dixie State moves to a national stage, the Board of Trustees has voted to recommend a name change to the state legislature. On the first day of the spring semester, those in favor and those not made their voices heard.
I'm here today to fight for the name Dixie. I don't think there's a reason to change it. I'm not racist, and neither are my friends.
A point of contention between both parties is about the local versus national meaning of the word Dixie.
Dixie is our identity. It's who we have been for generations as individuals, and we love it.
I want to be able to say that I came from St. George, Utah, without there being the stigma of Dixie State University. And, you know, people here know what Dixie is about. You know, they know what the name is for them, whatever their reason being. But when you go out of state, what is that?
Another point of disagreement is over the results of a marketing survey that was held this summer to study the positive and negative effects of keeping the word Dixie.
So I feel like taking a step back, looking at this and educating yourself on the facts and the statistics is important. The university is saying that in order to move forward and have a successful university, we need to get rid of the name Dixie, but there's no factual evidence to support that. They've nearly doubled in the last 5 years. They had record fall intake, 2020, freshman intake, record numbers, right? So it's 100% speculation to say that in order for the university to move forward and progress, it has to change the name.
The data that we commissioned to find out the impacts of the name were overwhelming. And to see that 1 in 4 of our students outside of the state of Utah, recent grads, have had someone ask them in a negative way about the name, that's hard to hear. At the end of the day, we respect and honor our heritage, but we're a school and it's our mission to educate students and to put them on the best track possible. And if we find that anything is disrupting our ability to do that, it's something that we need to address. And this was not just 1 or 2 students, although that would probably be enough. But this was many, many students.
At the end of the day, the university is moving forward with the recommendation, but hopes to collaborate with the community to find ways to teach its heritage and help all to love the local meaning of Dixie.
I feel the love for Dixie State and for the community so much. And I have the Dixie spirit in my heart, and I know that it means so much to people, but I also know that names can change and the feeling of Dixie can remain in your heart. And nothing can take the love that we have for Dixie State away from people. You can only grow and progress and move forward with a new name.
For Dixie Sun News, I'm Stephanie Dupar.
St. George is making history by appointing its first ever female mayor. Michelle Randall, who served for 7 years on City Council, will be interim mayor until November. She is replacing John Pike, who resigned to serve as the commissioner of the Utah Insurance Department under Governor Cox. Randall will be sworn in tonight at 5 p.m. at the City Council meeting.
Several government agencies and organizations are partnering together in an effort to protect the Mojave Desert tortoise. Together, the agencies have acquired 53 acres of private property that was given to Red Cliffs Desert Reserve. This acquisition is in response to federal approval of the Northern Corridor, which would be built in the middle of the Desert Reserve. State and city officials have been pushing for the 4-lane highway for years, but have been met with pushback from conservationists who are concerned the highway will negatively affect the threatened tortoise population. Do you think they'll acquire more land as an effort, to try to push back against this corridor?
It's certainly something to think about. A lot of species can benefit from having something like that, not just the tortoise. After the break, Stephanie Dupar will honor the life of a professor taken too soon.
I have a backpack.
请所有的同学回到座位哈。3。
Get our print curve here. And there's the bottom.
Does this one have more water?
Can you tell me why? Careful.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
1, 2, 3, 4. 0.52 kilograms. This graph is square.
Pretty close.
Artemisia is all the sagebrushes, but there's your needle and thread. Which one is this?
Come down. Perfect. Great. Sodium carbonate.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this.
I need a one dance.
And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
Selfless, loyal, talented, magnificent. This is how Professor Glenn Blakely was described by his colleagues, but even though who knew him as a coworker considered him a friend. Glenn tragically passed away after a 2-week battle with COVID-19. We will remember him not only for his many artistic talents, but for his genuine kindness.
He's known for his pottery, for his ceramics, but he was a photographer. He could draw, he could speak. Glenn had so many talents. He really was a true Renaissance man.
In every regard, he just treated people with kindness and respect and made you feel like he cared about you and was really focused on connecting with people. So Glenn, just a magnificent person.
Morally, he was outstanding. Educational-wise, he was outstanding in every way. And that's, it's easy to say that about somebody that's passed away, but we were saying that about him before he passed away. He just was a really great guy.
Anybody who meets Glenn thinks that they're his best friend. with Glenn, you didn't just see him, you didn't just pass him in the hall, you talked with him, and he talked with you and asked you about how things were going. You knew you mattered to him.
He's just a wonderful man. He's super kind. He's always says nice things to everybody.
You know, he had a way of making everybody feel like they were special to him.
When someone like that passes, you know, I guess you have the comfort of knowing that they lived a great life. A couple of my directors just happened to talk with him the last day he was here, and they were kind of joking with him about retiring because he's our senior faculty member. Glenn told them that day he was not ever going to retire. And I think that is true. I mean, you know, he didn't retire. And so he did what he loved, and I think that with that we all feel really happy, you know, even though it's a real big loss.
Now I can take my hands and stretch this out on the inside against the rib. You have to always remember to keep those hairy hands covered. My grandkids call me Harry Potter because I have hair all over me and I make pots. So.
We pass on our deepest sympathies to his friends and family. We'll be back after the break.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
The Western Athletic Conference is adding 5 new members plus football. The announcement is coming from Commissioner Jeff Hurd on January 14th. The WAC intends to reinstate football at the football championship subdivision level beginning the 2022 season. What this means for DSU's football program is the Trailblazers may have a new and permanent conference home. The teams joining the WAC are Abilene Christian University, Lamar University, Sam Houston State University, Stephen F. Austin State University, and Southern Utah University. That will bring the overall conference to 13 teams divided into the West and Southwest divisions. A 7th member to join the Southwest division is still to be determined. We will see all these new faces in the WAC starting on July 1st, 2022. Men's basketball will look to hold a 4-game losing streak at home this weekend against Grand Canyon University. The Trailblazers' previous matchup was a doubleheader against University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Game 1, the Vaqueros scored 30 points off DSU's turnovers. Then the Trailblazers could not get anything going offensively, shooting 33% from the field and a season-low 7% from downtown. The Vaqueros blew out DSU 49-82. In Game 2, the Trailblazers picked up its game offensively, making 43% of its shots from the field and snatching 42 rebounds. However, DSU could not stop the Vaqueros defensively by allowing 5 players to score in double figures. UTRGV propelled themselves to win the game 65-72. The Trailblazers games against the Lobes will be tomorrow and Saturday at 7 p.m. at the Burns Arena. Women's swim began its spring portion of its schedule with back-to-back meets against Northern Arizona University and GCU. The Trailblazers were able to notch 5 event wins against the Lumberjacks in the 200-yard free, 100 breast, 50 free, 100 free, and 200 IM. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. The Lumberjacks took the meet 157-101. Then the meet against the Lopes, it was all GCU, winning 145-110. Freshman Catherine Carter accounted for both DSU wins in the 100-yard breaststroke and 200 breast. The Trailblazers will race again next week on the road against Seattle University. The Division I party is just getting started with 4 more Trailblazer athletic programs making their debut this weekend. Welcome to the spring season DSU volleyball. They'll be playing tomorrow night on the road against SUU, followed by conference play next week with a doubleheader matchup against New Mexico State University on the road. Men's and women's cross country will be lining up for a race on Saturday at the Dixie State Invitational at the golf course at Sun Hollow Resort. Finally, women's tennis will be away for a doubleheader against NAU. It's great to see all these programs to join in on the action with more DSU athletics still to come in the upcoming months. You know, it fills my heart to finally talk about all the recaps with sports and saying that sports are slowly coming back here at DSU. It's amazing to me right now to see all the sports coming back.
Yeah, and basketball has already started their D1 adventure, and I can't wait to see what volleyball, swim, what they're going to do with the rest of their start to this D1 season as well.
Me too. I'm excited to see if Swim can pull it against Seattle University.
Definitely. They have this week to recover and practice, and they'll definitely pick it up for this meet. And that's it for this week's edition of Dixie Sun News at Noon.
We will see you here next week, same time, same place.
Have a great week, Trailblazers.